We learned how the power of envy can make even the greatest personality of the heavenly kingdom, like Indra, do foolish things. Indra really tried hard to stop Prithu Maharaj from completing the completing the 100th Ashwamedh Yagya, because he was feeling deeply insecure within his heart that if Maharaj Prithu matches the same level of achievement as he had in the past, pretty much exclusively, then he will lose his position. So now we can see from Prithu Maharaj's standpoint what is the right course of action. How is a devotee to deal with reversals like this? It is important to note that in the devotional sphere, there is never a room for tit for tat sort of mentality. When we are going through reversals, our acharyas as well as the teachings, they always point us in the direction where we can take a thoughtful action rather than just getting swayed by the circumstances and um, take a step which is going to cause further havoc. And that's the lesson that this particular section is teaching us. So Indra not only is trying to stop Prithu Maharaj from completing the 100th sacrifice, but because he is also taking the garb of various forms of um, sannyasis, he is also sort of inadvertently introducing irreligion within the society. So therefore, Indra is responsible for introducing both irreligion and hypocrisy into the society while carrying the flag of religion. And this is the most abominable thing that was possible. Um, so the question is that what Maharaj Prithu did to rectify the situation. So it is described Maharaj Prithu, who was celebrated as very powerful, immediately took up his bow and arrows and prepared to kill Indra himself, because Indra had introduced such irregular sannyas orders. But the priests, they begged Prithu Maharaj to refrain from killing Indra, because that is going to contaminate the sacrifice. Instead, they suggested that Indra's powers are already reduced due to his attempt to impede the execution of this sacrifice. Therefore, the sages advised Prithu Maharaj to call him by Vedic mantras, the mantras which have not been used before. And then by the power of that mantra, the sages were looking to cast him into the fire, and in this way bring down um, um, Indra's life. So it's interesting to note that what is the difference between killing Indra, as Prithu Maharaj was suggesting to do, versus invoking some mantras to cast him into the fire. So it is important to note in that context that the sacrifices have specific purposes, and Vedic standards are such that they do not actually mix the actions, actions which are appropriate for one goal to be mixed with another. Because when we try to mix, then that's going to cause inauspiciousness. And therefore, the sages considered it appropriate to kill Indra because he was acting as an enemy, but they wanted to not use the Ashwamedh Yagya to do so. but start a fresh new sacrifice. So when the priests prepared themselves to chant the mantras and offer oblations into the fire with the goal of killing Indra, Lord Brahma appeared in the scene. And then Lord Brahma requested the performers that, my dear sacrificial performers, you cannot kill Indra, the king of heaven. It is not your duty. You should know that Indra is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, he is one of the most powerful assistants of the Personality of Godhead. You are trying to satisfy all the demigods by the performance of the yagyas, by, by the performance of this yagya, but you should know that all these demigods are but parts and parcels of Indra, the king of heaven. How then can you kill him in this great sacrifice? And then Brahma described the situation that Indra wanted to be the only person to have completed the 100 horse sacrifices. And when he saw Maharaj Pṛthu's attempt to perform the same number, he started adopting irreligious means to stop him. So if Pṛthu Maharaj continued to challenge him in trying to complete this last sacrifice, Indra is going to further introduce irreligion into the society, and thus it is not good for the overall well-being of the people. So therefore, Brahma requested that let there be only 99 sacrificial performances for Maharaj Pṛthu. It is very interesting to note that Lord Brahma is not taking the route of chastising Indra and allowing Maharaj Pṛthu to complete the 100 sacrifices. In fact, he is glorifying Maharaj Pṛthu further by exemplifying how important it is to not get too attached to the goal, but more attached to the instructions that one receives from the superior. So Lord Brahma turned towards Maharaj Pṛthu and informed him that since he was thoroughly aware of the path of liberation, what was the use of performing more sacrifices? So Lord Brahma asked Pṛthu Maharaj to adjust his own aspiration. And usually when there are disputes and disagreements occurring among respected personalities, the best solution often is to somehow leave all the parties satisfied. And that generally is met by a mutual willingness to make some sacrifices. So in the 32nd purport, Srila Prabhupada is describing Lord Brahma's intelligence to deal with this situation in the most practical way, in this way, that as the ideal king, it was King Pṛthu's duty to perform sacrifices. A compromise was therefore to be worked out. By the blessings of Lord Brahma, King Pṛthu would become more famous than King Indra. Thus, Pṛthu's determination to perform 100 sacrifices was indirectly fulfilled by the blessings of Lord Brahma. In other words, it's a very subtle lesson in this whole thing, that which is more important, to follow the instruction of Lord Brahma or to get the certificate of having fulfilled the 100 Ashwamedh Yagya, and in this way equaling King Indra. So this particular section is teaching us that it is far more important to be in alignment with the instruction of our superiors than getting too attached to the goals, which may be really an important goal to pursue. But more important than anything else is how we are able to live our life in such a way that they are in complete harmony with the instructions that we are receiving from our preceptors. So, therefore, Lord Brahma suggested Pṛthu Maharaj to give up his anger and said that let there be good fortune to both of you. For you and King Indra are both part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you should not be angry with King Indra, who is non different from you. In other words, Lord Brahma is inviting Vaishnava qualities to predominate the situation. And he said that the more we try to rectify such reversals, the more we enter into the darkest region of materialistic thought. So when we try to take action by retorting or just readjusting the situation and be too firm on our goals, neglecting the instructions, then it just creates more havoc. And it is important to note that usually these kind of decisions are not so hard to follow. Sorry, they're not so easy to follow. It's really inviting to take the high road, which is not always easy. So Prabhupada in this context, in verse number 34, is giving a beautiful suggestion of how we can respond to misfortunes of life. So Prabhupada is writing, sometimes a saintly or very religious person also has to meet with reversals in life. Such incidents should be taken as providential. Although there may be sufficient cause for being unhappy, one should avoid counteracting such reversals. For the more we become implicated in rectifying such reversals, the more we enter into the darkest regions of material anxiety. Lord Krishna has also advised us in this connection, we should tolerate things instead of becoming agitated. So this is coming from Bhagavad Gita 2.14. And then Brahma is cautioning Pṛthu Maharaj that even someone as exalted as Indra is capable of interfering with the Lord's service. And your sacrifices are inducing the introduction of many irreligious practices. And it is interesting to note that that statement that even among the demigods there is addiction to undesirable things or unwanted desires. So this is the categorical difference between demigods and Lord Krishna. So if you want to establish this point about the position of the demigods, this particular verse is an important verse to note. Srila Prabhupada is explaining the danger of Indra's actions in the purport number 36. That for his own sense gratification, King Indra thought to defeat Maharaj Pṛthu in the performance of 100 horse sacrifices. Consequently, he stole the horse and hid himself amid so many irreligious personalities, taking on the false guise of a sannyasi. Such activities are attractive to the people in general, therefore they are dangerous. Lord Brahma thought that instead of allowing Indra to further introduce such irreligious systems, it would be better to stop the sacrifice. And then is expressing that just see how Indra, the king of heaven, was creating a disturbance in the midst of the sacrifice by stealing the sacrificial horse. These attractive sinful activities, attractive sinful activities he has introduced will be carried out by the people in general. O King Pṛthu, son of Vena, you are the part and parcel expansion of Lord Vishnu. Due to the mischievous activities of King Vena, religious principles were almost lost. At that opportune moment, you descended as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Indeed, for the protection of religious principles, you have appeared from the body of King Vena. O protector of the people in general, please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but mothers of so many unwanted religions. Please, therefore, stop these imitations immediately. So, this is the instruction, the final instruction from Lord Brahma. And um, Prabhupada in the 37th purport is writing a very important thing that when King Pṛthu is described as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, it should be understood that he is a Shakti-avesh avatar, part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, and is specifically empowered by him. Any living being acting as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu is thus empowered by Lord Vishnu to preach the bhakti cult. Such a person can act like Lord Vishnu and defeat demons by arguments and preach the bhakti cult exactly according to the principles of Shastra. As indicated in Bhagavad Gita, whenever we find someone extraordinary preaching the bhakti cult, we should know that he is especially empowered by Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Who is that in this context? There is, of course, Srila Prabhupada. So, Srila Prabhupada's own position is brought out in this particular purport. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya 7.11, Krishna Shakti Bina Nahi Tar Pravartan. One cannot explain the glories of the holy name of the Lord without being specifically empowered by him. If one criticizes or finds fault with such an empowered personality, one is to be considered an offender against Lord Vishnu and is punishable. Even though such offenders may dress as Vaishnavas with false tilak and mala, they are never forgiven by the Lord if they offend a pure Vaishnava. There are many instances of this in the Shastras. So Srila Prabhupada's position is also that of, in one sense, a Shakti-avesh avatar. That's the point that we are getting from this particular um, section of the purport. So thank you very much. We'll continue.